Hey everybody, Hunter, Fisher, Trapper, Trader, Guide, Scout, and Interpreter, and Country Cook Steve Hall here in Nashville, Tennessee, along with pretty Miss Sheila. Hi, Sheila.
Hi.
And she's going to stay behind the camera today because she wants nothing to do with our pickled chicken gizzards and hearts. But I know you guys do and I do, so let's put them together. Come on over here, let me show you what's going on. First thing I did is I went to the store and I bought 2 packages of chicken gizzards and hearts, $1.49 a package, each one's a pound. $3 for our entire recipe here. And I have a complaint. Every chicken, every grouse, every pheasant, every quail, every chucker that I've ever cleaned has a gizzard and a heart in it. So why is it that there's only about 7 or 8 or 10 hearts, but there's about 15 or 20 gizzards? Somebody is eating up our little hearts, which I just love. But with all that said, I'm going to move them into this little pot right here. And I've got this boiling already because that's going to be our timer. What you want to do, if I can get this thing to slide over here gently, is you want to bring this to a boil. How are we looking for center on the camera there, Sheila? A little more, about right there. All right, we brought this to a boil, and what we have in our little pot here is we have 2 boxes of chicken broth at $1.29 a piece. Now we're up to about $5, so we can live with that. 2 boxes of that we poured in there. I put in about, a tablespoon of minced garlic. I can even put a little more pepper in there because I like pepper, just lots of pepper. Don't put any salt in there. By the way, I use regular chicken broth. I don't use low sodium because when I use low sodium, I always got to put salt in it to make it taste right anyway, so I just buy the regular sodium. This is 1 package, and what I did is I opened these up in the, put that back over there. I opened these up in the sink, and I rinsed them off real good. So I've got 2 1-pound packages of chicken gizzards and hearts, and I'm going to put them in here. And I'm even going to throw in a few onions. I'll save a few for my jars, but I'll just toss a few in there for flavor. I'm going to put the lid back on. And because I got a glass lid, I'm going to watch this come back to a boil. All right, this thing came back to a boil. Now we're going to turn it way down on a low simmer. And we're going to let these babies simmer in here for about 2.5 to 3 hours. Until they get real tender. Now you can do the same thing with a slow cooker. If you have a slow cooker at home, you can put all the same ingredients in your slow cooker, put it on high for about 30 minutes to get it kind of kicking, then turn it way down on low or even medium and let it simmer for about 2 to 3 hours till they get real tender. So we got that set right there. All right, and when they're done, we'll continue on with the recipe, but we want to get them cooked real tender first. We'll be back in a bit. Got a spoon here with some little slots in it so I can drain them out of here. Am I still in camera frame there, Sheila?
Yes, you are.
And I'm going to keep the onions too because they're going in my jars, the ones that were in here. All right, we got them all out of this broth, and I'm going to keep this broth. I'm going to put in some celery, a couple cans of shredded chicken, maybe some diced tomatoes, and make a little bit of cold weather cough syrup chicken broth for myself. I got these over here cooling off, but I did pull one out a little bit earlier because I want to show you what we're going to do. Now you can pickle these just the way they are, and it'll soften the gristle and all that stuff, but these big pods are the good eating stuff, and in between is right here is the gristle. Right where it pulls down tight to it almost looks like it's wrinkled like a little sock. And you can cut the little gristle pieces off and just keep the main chunks. And that's what I'm going to do. Here's a good example. Good meat, good meat, good meat, 2 wrinkled down segments. Cut that off. Get rid of that, pure gristle. Cut that, pure gristle. All good meat. This is all good meat for our pickling. Now this is going to take a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and do all these, and we'll turn the camera back on and we'll show you what we're going to do next because we're going to make our brine. I took these out of the bowl and I let them cool off so I can work with them. That's the good side and that's the wrinkly. Again, there's your gizzard. Meat, a little bit of meat on the end, but mostly gristle, and then in between the two where the 2 little wrinklies go down, just cut that out. Now you can do this before you cook them, but to me it's really difficult because it just seems like it's kind of rubbery and it's hard to cut. So I always cook them first and then I cut the little gristles out. But it makes an easy cut when it's pre-cooked. Little gristle goes over there, and the toughest part is taking these chicken hearts. Whoops, that goes in the good pile. What are you doing, Steve? and not eating them. It's so difficult because I love little chicken hearts. And again, I don't know why they cheat me out of some of them, but and there's the little gristly parts, here's the good parts, and here is all gristle. You can still chew that up and eat it if you're a real chicken lover, but these are what we're going to make our little pickled chicken gizzards and chicken hearts out of. And now we're going to make our brine to put this in. Watch this. Time for our brine. I already got some poured in here. We've got 2 cups of water and 2 cups of vinegar, because I don't want 100% vinegar for this chicken and heart recipe. 2 cups of water, 2 cups of vinegar, 1 cup of sugar. That's right, I said it, 1 cup of sugar. And pickling spice. Now I just get to where, and you will too if you do enough of these pickling recipes, to where you put about a tablespoon on top. You know, that just looks good to me. And because it's just got a general good flavor when it starts boiling. And you can also strain that out before you put it in. But I like picking through some of those, and I don't mind even the taste of some of them little seeds and stuff when I'm eating the pickling stuff. So before this gets to a complete boil, we need to add our secret ingredient. That's right, Shotgun Red's Touch of Sweet red wine. Can you see that label there, Sheila?
Yes.
All right, awesome. We're going to put in about 1/4 of a cup here. That's all it needs for flavor. And I'll tell you, since I've been pickling fish, shrimp, and now with this chicken and gizzards, if you just give a shot of this red wine to your pickling brine, man, it's so awesome. We're going to get this sugar incorporated in there. And remember, you don't have to put the wine in if you don't want to, but if you do put it in and you just simmer it for a while, bring it to a boil and simmer it about 5 minutes, all the alcohol evaporates and all you have is nothing but flavor. Boy, it just looks good too. All right. We'll get this going. We'll bring it to a boil. I'm going to take this in the kitchen and maybe get me a glass of it right now. We'll see you in just a second. Well, they say a watched pot never boils. That's not true. I stared at this thing for 3 hours and 26 minutes and damn if it didn't finally start boiling. Well, there we go. Now we're going to turn it down to kind of a simmer a little bit for just about, just 3 to 5 minutes. We're going to move this over to the side here. And we're going to bring our sterilized jars in that we boiled in a water bath for about 10 minutes each. And we're going to start loading up our chicken gizzards and hearts. And to do it evenly, I'll put a handful in each one. And then some onions. You notice that 2 pounds doesn't make that many. So I'm kind of stretching this recipe by adding onions. And I love onions in pickled anything. Pickled fish, pickled hot dogs, it doesn't matter. The onions seem like they're kind of the highlight of the whole deal. And if you want to get somebody to try a pickled fish recipe, give them a, oops, there's a wild one. One always runs out on the table and I throw him right back in the jar anyway. A little bit more in each one. Oh, those hearts are so tempting to just eat every one of them and just do the pickled gizzards, but I'm going to be fair because I know Sheila loves these things. I couldn't get her to eat one of these if I held her down and drug a tractor over the top of her. She would not eat pickled anything that has to do with chicken gizzards and hearts, so she don't eat them when they're cooked. All right, I wish I had a little more onion, but this is good enough. We'll leave a little head space in the jar. Boy, these onions are wild today. They must be those wild Valdalia onions, sweet Valdalias. Here we go. Now we're going to take our broth, as soon as it cools down, our brine, so to speak, and we're going to pour it in there in just a second. All right, while this brine is still fairly hot, I'm going to pour about half of it in here because a lot of the floating stuff on top, I want to get half in each jar from that pickling spice. Then I can go the rest of the way here. And it's going to look like that's going to be just about perfect for the amount of brine. We only got about a half a cup or about a cup left in there. And pour it up to the top. And I'm pouring it in here fairly hot because I want it to soak into them gizzards and hearts. All right. And like I always do with these rascals is, let me tell you, that stuff is pretty warm, so I'm going to get a paper towel here. Let's turn her upside down. That kind of sanitizes everything else, your lids, everything else. So there's not a head space of about a ½ inch that nothing hot and sanitary seems to hit. Well, there you go. All right, now we got our camera centered. It looks prettier. We'll turn these back over and we'll get a nice shot of ta-da. That way I can use that for the thumbnail on my video on YouTube. There you go. Isn't that something else? After 3 days in the refrigerator, these are going to be just absolutely fantastic. Now I know I probably won't get Sheila to eat them, and I know there's a few people out there that probably don't like fried alligator or frog legs or oysters on the half shell or any of that kind of exotic stuff. But if you just try it once, you'd absolutely love it. But I know there's a bunch of you guys out there sitting there with a Ritz cracker and a fork saying, I'm going to make me some pickled chicken gizzards and hearts, and you're going to love the recipe, trust me. Plus, if you want to get yourself a little Shotgun Red to put in your kitchen to keep you company, you can get them at shotgunred.com. And here's our little subscribe button up in the top right-hand corner. Click on that. You'll be the first to know if you subscribe to our channel when we're coming out with a new recipe. We hope you click the like button. And is this the best chicken gizzard and heart pickled recipe you've ever tasted in your life? If it ain't, it ought to be. This is Steve Hall in Nashville, Tennessee, along with pretty Miss Sheila. Say bye, Sheila.
Bye.
No, say bye, Sheila.
Bye, Sheila.
We'll see you next time right here. Bye-bye.